everyone, and welcome back to our trip around the world. My name is Sarah, and it truly is a small world out there. For here with me today is Vladimir Putin and Anton Silovanov to teach us a little bit about Russia. Welcome, guys. How about you tell me a little bit about yourself?
I am Vladimir Putin, the great Russian president. I live in Moscow in the Grand Presidential Palace. My treasurer, Anton Silovanov, has little to say on the topic of the Russian economy.
The Russian economy is a great one, and it has changed a lot since the fall of the Soviet Union.
How has this affected your connection with the neighboring countries, Mr. Vladimir?
This has greatly increased our reputation in the world as well as increasing our power in the world. We now have many overseas trade partners and we have many international relations that we did not have before this change.
We have also begun the creation of a new Russian-led economic bloc called the Eurasian Economic Union. Our new oil fields and more flexible exchange rate have improved our ability to deal with outward problems. The biggest problems Russia will have to face are a shrinking workforce and government corruption.
Fascinating. Vladimir, could you tell us what kind of government structure Russia currently uses, and maybe a little bit about the history of Russia?
Russia uses a federal government with myself as the president. Russia achieved its independence on August 24, 1991 from the Soviet Union. We adopted our constitution on December 12, 1993, more than 2 years after we achieved our independence.
Well, that is very interesting. Mr. Vladimir, how does your law system work?
Russia uses a civil law system. We also have judicial review of legislative acts. The legal voting age in Russia is 18, the same as many places in large countries like the United States.
Interesting. Can you tell us a bit about the bigger sources of Russia's income, Mr. Silvanov?
Certainly, much of our income comes from the markets of fuel, as we hold the world's largest natural gas reserves, the second largest coal reserves, and the eighth largest crude oil reserves. Russia became the world's leading oil producer in 2011, and it is only second in natural gas productions. It also exports much of the steel and aluminum of the world. That being said, when oil prices dropped in 2008 and 2009, Russia's economy was hit hard.
That is interesting. But enough about that. Mr. Silvanov, would you like to tell me some interesting facts about the life and society of Russia?
Well, Russian is the official language of our land.
Although there are many minority languages like Ukrainian and Belarusian.
Along with many languages, we also have many religions. A large percent of the population are either non-believers or non-practicing believers. Yet out of practicing believers, 15 to 20% are Russian Orthodox, 10 to 15% are Muslim, and around 2% of the practicing believers are Christian.
So you see we have a very diverse culture back home in Russia.
Speaking of diverse culture, could you tell me a little bit of some of the amazing art that circles around, maybe like visual or musical?
We do have very famous composers whose work has excelled recently, like Sergei Prokofiev, Alexander Scriabin, and Dmitri Shostakovich.
And don't forget Igor Stratvinsk's music. He's one of the ones that helps with the marvelous ballets.
Yes, well, speaking of visual art, we have some amazing architecture, especially the domes of special buildings, which we are known for.
And we also have sculptures, mainly religious, yet they only came to play such a large part of our culture very recently.
Yes, and we also have art like the usual paintings, portraits, drawings, although they are mainly religious pieces.
We also have many cultural mixes with Europe, although we do not have regulations on food or clothes. Mostly we are a very nice and normal country.
But we are definitely filled with fascinating facts.
Yes, of course. And wasn't that simply fascinating, everyone? Well, that's it for Russia, Mr. Vladimir and Mr. Silvanov. Goodbye, and have a great day. Next up is an interview with a naturalist expert. Back to you after these messages.